Garadas exists in a distant realm separate from the familiar world of humans, situated in a universe entirely foreign to our own. The origin of the planet remains a mystery, as it is not documented in any historical records and is unknown to all inhabitants of this world. Garadas is significantly larger than Earth, with twice the mass of our planet. Garadas is a world divided between the peaceful continent of Muninia in the east and the eerie Lamnadras in the west, with a clear distinction between sea and land. This reality was brought into existence by the collaboration of the 12 gods. In the lands of Muninia, 7 distinct races wander, each abiding by their own customs and principles as they navigate through life. Despite their differences, they all share one commonality: they each follow their own leader. The gods have selected 7 individuals whose lives have remained untainted and virtuous, standing out from the rest who have stumbled and erred, as these 7 have only achieved greatness. The 7 kings of Garadas were fated to unite the world in peace and coexist harmoniously. In the realm of Garadas, 12 united gods created a world of perfect balance and purity, where man and nature coexisted harmoniously. They meticulously designed and sculpted the lands to reflect their vision, giving birth to a new era of life and beauty. The 12 individuals were each distinct, with their own set of qualities and traits. They would give rise to the 7 races, fated to inhabit the world of Garadas indefinitely. The continent of Muninia is vast and diverse, home to a multitude of climates and terrains where different races such as the Illuminar, Elenar, and Dunnar once roamed before humans, elves, dwarves, and Haldar arrived.
The races came together in unity, serving the 7 kings and their thrones with honor and pride as they worked towards maintaining a peaceful and harmonious alliance. The north of Muninia is characterized by vast snowy landscapes, towering mountains, and expansive flat plains, home to the Dunnar or dwarves. It is the largest region in Muninia. The Dunnar is a very stubborn flock of creatures, only living inside mountain halls and not leaving for any reason other than trade or commerce. They are shorter, thicker, but stronger than the other races, living longer lives, but in smaller numbers. Western Muninia is primarily made up of grasslands, with a few remarkable mountain ranges scattered throughout. These lands are inhabited by the Illuminar, or the humans, and governed by a revered king. Central Muninia is home to the Haldar, perhaps not familiar to most, but these creatures are extremely smart and know more about the world around them than any other. They are also very obsessed with gold, though this varies between kinds. The Haldar are small creatures, nestled in small houses deep in the forests. Their love of wealth combined with the nature around them makes them extraordinary compared to the other races. The Elenar, or the elves, have decided to begin their lives in the southeastern part of the continent, living in great forests, tall mountains, and peaceful landscapes. They are like expected, tall beings with long hair, though not very kind of outsiders and not likely to show themselves anywhere but their home. They cling to their homes and seldom leave, but once they do, it won't be for any good reason other than war. Muninia is divided into 7 kingdoms, each with its own king. The Dunnar, Elenar, and Haldar are loyal to their respective rulers, while the humans have 4 kings, each distinct and unique in their leadership styles. The Dunnar lands lie to the north, with boundaries extending to the territories of the first and second human kings to the south and east. The Haldar reside in the central lands, sharing borders with humans on all sides, except for the elves in the southeast. Human kings reside along the coasts and shores of Muninia, constructing impressive cities and ports to facilitate trade and commerce. These 7 kings have been selected by the gods to lead their people because of their pure souls. Unfortunately, all good things come to an end, for the 7 kingdoms did not remain in peace forever. Something lured them from their path and set them to pit against each other. A certain weapon, powerful enough to rule all the lands of Muninia. There would no longer be needed 7 kings, but only one true ruler to dictate over all. This weapon brought many death and destruction on its path and led the seven kings to wage war on each other. Thus war began, and the seven kingdoms summoned their armies. Garadas was about to see a time of great darkness, never seen before. From treason to high treason, nothing wouldn't be done. Every act of evil that could possibly be committed happened in those years of war. Towns and villages fell and burned to ashes. Families got destroyed and separated, while the kings of power sought to seek the weapon that would give them ultimate power. Yet none of them could find it until one of the human kings had found the ancient wisdom and discovered its location. Thus he devised a plan to lure all the kings together in one place and take them out so that he could be the one to claim the weapon for himself. This man was King Usmer. His corrupted mind had brought the darkness to the world, for the knowledge of the sword came from his tongue. The six kings would listen to all that he would tell them, hoping that they could overthrow him in one way or another. But eventually, Usmer was the only one left standing. He obtained the weapon, and he took control of the world. Usmer quickly became emperor of all the civilizations in Menouer, ruling them with pride and honor in his first years as supreme emperor of the empire. His empire grew larger and larger, expanding towns into cities and cities into metropolises. All followed his word, at least long enough for him to start the creation of a new city in the olden dwarven kingdom. Here he would build his new home, just outside of the mountain halls of its former king. This city would quickly be known as the largest city ever built in history, but it came with a toll. The emperor did not treat his workers with fairness and dignity. He used them as slaves to construct him his home, while he would sit and wait for it to finish. The power that his weapon would grant him grew to his head. The idea of being able to demand anything from anyone at all in the entire empire gave him too much control. He would order the building of statues of himself to immortalize his presence. As the day waned, Usmer transformed into a malevolent ruler, bolstering his rule with an army of the undead, known as the Ned. With their unyielding loyalty, he became an unstoppable force, no longer reliant on anyone, not even to sustain his empire's dominance. He possessed the ability to traverse his cities and ensure their stability with only his own presence. The citizens had reached their limit as their emperor's actions became increasingly tyrannical and crossed all boundaries. After the fall of the Seven Kingdoms, a tyrannical empire rose to power, sparking a rebellion determined to overthrow the emperor and his corrupt rule. As a result, a destructive civil war erupted in the city. As the rebellion continued to gain momentum, drawing in more disgruntled citizens of the empire, it eventually amassed a global force that surrounded the emperor. With each passing moment, the borders closed in tighter, bringing the rebellion ever closer to its target. The emperor sought sanctuary in his palace, only to find it breached, then tried retreating to his mountain fortress, which was also compromised. Left with no other choice, he fled to the road in hopes of finding refuge in the north. His demise occurred at the hands of a close associate, who was well known and ordered his assassination. The world plunged deeper into darkness following his passing. The rebellion's efforts to maintain the empire ultimately faltered, leading to its fragmentation back into the Seven Kingdoms that had once stood united. Although Menouer currently lacks a king and leadership, it is not without hope for the future. The fate of this world is still undetermined. To find out what will happen to Garadas next, check out Menouer Darkness Rises on Amazon. This tale marks the start of a fresh alliance of kings, with a twist that sets it apart from its predecessors.